Previously on Live the Wildlife.
Nice, he's down. He's down. He's down.
Oh, dude. Dude, we just got here, man.
Nice freaking deer, man.
Only moments into their hike to Spike Camp, Gus was able to harvest a great blacktail buck. But with daylight fading fast, the guys need to get moving up the mountain to Spike Camp. Today, Gus starts the grueling climb up the mountain face with one goal in mind: to harvest a mountain goat with his bow. Alaska provides some of the most beautiful landscapes and the best big game hunting in the world. Anyone looking to go on an adventure of a lifetime needs to look no further than Alaska. After traveling nearly 4,500 miles to Anchorage, Gus and the crew made their way to Kodiak Island, and then onto Big Wild Outfitters' remote mountain goat camp. Formerly known as Lamoureux's Ugashik Lake and Kodiak Bear Camps, Big Wild Outfitters is a premier destination for anyone looking to have the hunt of a lifetime. In 2008, Gus came to Alaska for a spot and stalk brown bear hunt at Lamoureux's Kodiak Bear Camps, and it turned out to be one of his most memorable hunts to date.
Here he comes. It was tough to make a determination. The bear was in and out of the water, so his hair was kind of matted, but I knew it was a pretty big bear. So we see this bear coming, and I'm asking my guy, Dwayne, what do you think? Do you think he's a shooter? Once that bear got close enough, I didn't need Wayne to say anything. I was taking this bear. So it's hard to tell on video, but this bear came to within 3 yards of us. He's following along our bank. When we see the bear coming, I turn and say, don't move. So he's got the camera, he's behind me, but there was just no way of him getting over my shoulder. Man, he's huge. Straight down from me. It was like hunting whitetail, man, walking under your stand. You know what, I thought it was a good shot, but on any animal, you're never really sure unless you see the animal go down. When you're tracking something that can eat you, a dangerous animal, it's a little bit more intense. Well, darkness was coming. We probably could have waited a little longer, but you know, I thought it would be better to track in the daylight than it was in the dark. So we're inching our way through this, and I tell you what, we're just kind of moving through, looking for blood, but you know, you're thinking at any minute this bear's gonna spring up. I guess we went about 60, 70 yards, and there our bear was laying. And this bear came walking by. It was almost like a whitetail shot walking under your stand. Held my pin low, got a double lung shot, and just fantastic, fantastic bear. The bear scored 29 and 6/16. He's the new #1 SCI world record.
Kodiak Island is a game-rich environment that is very well managed. With a mountain goat population in excess of 1,500 goats, there are plenty of shot opportunities. But to harvest a mature billy with archery equipment takes a high level of skill and determination. Having hunted these rugged mountains before, Gus is well aware of the challenge that is ahead of him.
You know, Alaska mountain goat hunting, it brings on its own challenge, and not only hunting the animal, but the mountains come into play, and getting yourself, you know, the client, gear, everything up the mountain is a challenge in itself. And that first day, after shooting that buck, we chugged up the hill, and you know, slow and steady, and we made it up, and just in time to see the stars come out, and it was a sense of an accomplishment just getting there. You know, we weren't even thinking about goat. I mean, we almost forgot we were hunting. We were just in such a magical place at that time, and knowing that you worked your butt off to get to that point and accomplish that mountain, it was a great first day.
The time has come for Gus and the crew to start up the mountain and track down a mature mountain goat. Mountain goat hunting on Kodiak Island is one of the most physically demanding hunts an outdoorsman can attempt. To pursue the mountain goat on his home turf, you need to have rock-solid nerves. One missed step could be life-threatening.
So we get into camp and, you know, the excitement. Again, this is serious physical work. I mean, you're going completely uphill the whole time. And, you know, it'll challenge you.
Again, slow and steady, and being in a spike camp like that, you're already halfway up. So, you know, just a few hours in and you're in goat country, and you know, we were able to get up to where we wanted to be, and shoot, there were some giant billies and rutting around with some nannies, and it was a great opportunity. And then all of a sudden you look around and you see the ocean and blue skies and the sunrise, and you go, wow, you know, like the goats almost take a back seat to the beauty of this place up here. And but then you snap back to reality and say, all right, like, let's get this done.
The mountain goat is one of the most agile creatures on Earth. They're built from the hooves up to escape any predator that gets a little too close. With no snow on the mountaintops, the goats are staying as high up as possible, so stalking within bow range of these animals will be nearly impossible.
We got 4 goats skylined up there. I think it's a nanny and a kid and 2 billies. Kind of stopping us from making the stalk, because there was one billy was hanging back. He's the smaller one. And what my outfitter Clay did was put some whites on, and he's up ahead of us trying to lure them in, thinking there's another nanny here. Maybe we can get them to come in or move down, and we'll see if we can make a move.
This isn't Gus's first time to brave the steep mountains on Kodiak Island. In 2013, Gus and the crew of Live the Wildlife spent 40 days hunting 4 different locations all over the state of Alaska. The last stop on the trip was at the top of the mountains on Kodiak, stalking mountain goat.
One of the most challenging hunts I've ever been on has been on Kodiak Island for mountain goat. Now, 3 days on a hunt like this, a mountain goat with a bow is not a lot of time, but we did make the best of it. We went up the first day and we did see a ton of goats, just nothing in bow range. The second day we go up and an ice storm blows in. I mean, we got 60-mile-an-hour winds, ice coming in everywhere, treacherous walking. And we spot this goat way up, and by the time we got up there, he was gone. Now, there was one little crevice that kind of went in on the mountain. The wind was picking up, the ice was starting to come down. I spoke to my guide, Clay, and asked him if, man, we should maybe just peek back in there and see if the goat had worked his way in out of the wind. He goes around, sure enough, that's where the goat is. So I get my bow, we get up the side of the mountain. We're on this little 3-foot ledge, working our way around. I go to my cameraman, okay, look, dude, you gonna step out, I'm gonna draw my bow, you know, I'll step out, take my shot. The goat was only 12 yards from where I was standing. Cameraman steps out, everything's perfect. I draw my bow, I step out, I look down, my arrow is off my string. So I wasn't sure exactly what happened, whether the back of the broadhead hit the side of the mountain. You know, I let down on my bow, knocked the arrow again, draw back. The goat had looked and just started taking off. He was running. Hey, look, there was no reason to take a bad shot, an unethical shot. And that goat won that day. And again, and there was just, you know, nothing I could do about it. I still to this day don't know what happened.
Even though the guys were exhausted from 3 days of climbing, they pushed back up the mountain in hopes of taking a mature billy. This time, Gus picked up the rifle and was able to harvest a great mountain goat.
Nice shot.
Last day on Kodiak Island. Conclusion of an amazing Alaska trip, just to end up with a goat like this on the last day. I guess it's going to stay with me for a long time. Just an amazing trip here in Alaska.
It's the morning of day 2 here at Spike Camp on Kodiak Island, and the guys are preparing to make their way back up the mountain. Having seen several mature goats yesterday, the guys have a pretty good idea where they need to start today's stalk.
So there's 2 billies in the group up there.
Right.
The one followed an Annie and a kid to the left.
Right.
He's a little smaller, like the big one. He crested over the ridge. I think there's more goats on the other side of the ridge over there.
So that one coming off towards us?
Yeah, there's one small
one coming
yeah,
down?
it's super small, but he's
Okay.
coming to say hi. But I think the big one he crested over. I think there's more goats.
That was so cool. He was a young goat. He could have been a young billy, but not something we came to take. He's a few more years on him, but some goats on the hillside here that we've been glassing. There's 4 more, so we think that big billy that we saw them with went over the hill. Just that with them on that hillside right now, there's no way we can make a move on them, so kind of make a plan, work our way along this ridge and see if we can kind of get closer and maybe get on the back side of that. So we head up a 3rd day and we're back up on this mountain, and you know, Clay could see it in my eyes. You know, my body's starting to break down. It's you got to know when you've had enough. My friend put it best. He said, "I'd rather face a brown bear with a pencil than climb that mountain again, because one misstep and it's over." And you know, it's so true, because you look at this and you know, guys like Clay who handle this all the time, they're used to it. But when you come from the lower 48 there and you're working your way up here, and I tell you, it's a challenge. It's a physical challenge to be up here and to handle those situations. We saw a great billy. There was a lot of eyes up there. There was no way that I could make it around to get a stalk on, and I doubt anybody could have with 5 different goats up there that you know, they would have seen us. So Clay looked at me, I looked at him, and it was the moment, you know. Give me the old 375. That's what I shot my last goat with. He's tumbling. He's going down. Ooh, he's down. Wow. What a day. We've been chasing goats for 3 days now, and there's been no snow, so they're up high. And I gotta tell you, this has just kicked my butt, man. Trying to do this with a bow was just almost impossible. That goat was at 280 yards, and you know, I'm just burnt. So it was time to make it happen. We got a storm, or at least some weather blowing in tomorrow, so it was just gonna get worse up here. We've been spike camping up in these mountains, and pretty happy that we got this goat down. He's a big goat, so let's go check him out. I'm here on Kodiak Island with Big Wild Outfitters. My buddy Clay Roberts. We got a little history. Clay used to guide for Gus Lamoureux. I've hunted with Gus numerous times, and I've known Clay forever, and came back up here 3 years, well, I came here 3 years ago and hunted goat with Clay, and we tried to do it with the bow. We kind of had weather cut our hunt short, but I used Clay's rifle and took a nice goat. And we came back, and this time we were determined to do it with a bow, but I'm 60 years old now, and there's a time when you look around at these mountains and realize that you just can't do things the way you used to, and to get around on a big billy like this, it takes some serious effort, and I just don't think I have the tools anymore to do that. Sometimes I could have got lucky and one could have stumbled by, but we had the opportunity at a world-class goat like this. We said, give me the firearm. and let's take it in. You know, it doesn't really lessen this for me. It was something on my bucket list to take a mountain goat with the bow, but when you experience a place like this, when you could conquer these mountains or just beyond these mountains, I mean, you don't have to conquer them. You never conquer Alaska. You're just part of it. It adds so much to a hunt or an adventure. And if you get the chance to come to Alaska to hunt, Clay Roberts is like just a top shelf guy, man. I hunted with a lot of people in my career, my life, and he's one of the top guys that I've ever hunted with. Just the whole camp is unbelievable. Great guys. Everybody's happy, and you know, they're all passionate about hunting and getting your animal. And although that is never the point of my hunts, this is the end of the hunt. But the experience of where I am and what I'm doing will stay with me for a lifetime. We did manage to get it done and take an unbelievable goat. The body size on this goat is just way bigger than the first goat I took here, and I was really satisfied with this animal and this hunt, and it was just an incredible experience. Believe me, there are times climbing that mountain that I wanted to turn around and go back. I'm done. Man, this is just, I bit off a little more than I could chew this time. We were in a different area. There are monster goats up there. We knew that going up, and you know, of course, you don't want to quit. You don't want to quit. You keep going, and you don't want to let the people down who are there with you, and you just force yourself, but it takes a lot to look inside yourself and find that kind of strength to keep going, because believe me, there were times that no animal that was up there was worth that climb. But it wasn't about harvesting the animal. It was more about the personal accomplishment of getting up there and taking care of business and completing the task.
So getting the opportunity to take over Gus Lamoureux's camp, this camp was started by his father back in the 50s, and then Gus ran it for 30 years, and to be able to take over and fill in shoes like that I was very lucky, and but it also put on the pressure. And my partner Rick and I took on the task of keeping Gus's legacy alive. He worked very hard to stress conservation and refuge management, and it shows in the quality of animals around here. And I wanted to keep that going. So when we took over the business, I'd already worked for Gus for 6 years, so I was comfortable with the area, comfortable with the camp. But to be able to take over 3 cabins in the middle of the Kodiak Wildlife Refuge and have the quality of animals, the bears, the mountain goats, the deer, be on the ocean, see the sea life, whales, seals every day, you gotta almost pinch yourself sometimes on how lucky you can be, and to see what Gus has created and keep that going, it's something special.
One of the things I take away from a hunt like this is I did get to harvest that next level mountain goat, an unbelievable Sitka deer, just 2 great animals, spent some time with some good friends, and just really, really enjoy myself at this camp and the people that were there. It was unbelievable.